Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. You know, I get asked all the time for the no BS explanation on the negatives about each state and most cities. Occasionally, they ask for the no BS positives. Some people don't want a list, they just want an explanation like you would give a friend. Just recently, I got an email from a guy named Gary asking me to explain the downside of Texas like I would to a friend. No stats, no charts, just the story on Texas like I would, again, tell a friend. If you were one of my friends, you know asking this means honesty and a whole lot of sarcasm. So here it is. Welcome to Texas, where the weather can kill you, the traffic will break you, and the politics will make you question reality. People love to brag about Texas like it's America's, crown jewel. But spend some time, like more than a week here, and you will start to realize it's less of a jewel and more like a cheap rhinestone. Shiny from afar, but up close, oh boy, it can be a turd. The first thing you got to start with is the heat. Texas heat isn't grab a cold drink and enjoy the sun heat. No, Texas heat is your shoes are melting to the sidewalk and you can feel your skin crisping like bacon heat. It's so bad that summer in Texas isn't a season, it's a survival sport. You wake up at 7 a.m. thinking, maybe I can get my errands done before it gets hot. But by 7:15 a.m., you're sweating like you just ran a marathon in a sauna. People here don't even use car shades for comfort. They use them to prevent the steering wheel from getting so hot they get branded with the Toyota logo as they get in their car. And speaking of the outdoors, you might as well take a look at the outdoors here. It's a little crazy. Let's talk about the wildlife. First of all, you've got fire ants that treat your ankles like an all-you-can-eat buffet, mosquitoes that could be mistaken for a drone, and snakes. So many snakes. There are more venomous snakes in Texas than a Real Housewives reunion show. Just less makeup and breast implants. And don't forget the scorpions, because apparently Texas looked at Australia and said, you know what? We could do that too, with scorpions and armadillos. Now, let's move on to the infrastructure, or as I like to call it, a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Texas has this fun little thing where it freezes occasionally. Remember the 2021 winter storm? The state's power grid collapsed faster than my story after a Vegas trip with the guys, leaving millions without heat. People were literally burning their furniture to stay alive. The state government's response was basically, whoops, sorry, we were too focused on non-existent litter boxes in classrooms and forgot to weatherize our electrical grid. And that's not a one-off thing. Texas power grid is independent from the rest of the U.S. because apparently don't mess with Texas also applies to logical planning. Traffic? Oh, the traffic. Dallas traffic, Houston traffic, Austin traffic. It's like the same nightmare. You could leave for work 2 hours early and you'd still be late because half the lanes are closed for construction that hasn't actually progressed since 2003. And while you're stuck in traffic, you'll see billboards for personal injury attorneys, political candidates promising real change that never really happens, and restaurants bragging about their world-famous barbecue that tastes suspiciously like every other barbecue place in town. Now, I don't want to rag on the barbecue too much because Texas has some great barbecue. It's just barbecue. There's not much of a difference. Occasionally there is, not much. And let's not forget the urban sprawl. Texas doesn't build cities, it builds endless suburbs that all look the same, copy and paste neighborhoods. Drive through one and you've driven through them all. Cookie cutter houses, strip malls, and the same 5 stores and a Chick-fil-A on every corner. You could blindfold me, drop me off in any Texas suburb, and I wouldn't know if I was in Plano, Katy, or the outskirts of San Antonio. They're all the same. I was just there last year, and I was in Irving, and then I was in Plano, and one other one, and they were all the same thing. Now, this isn't a political channel, and I'd rarely like to touch on politics, but we got to talk about the politics of Texas. Oh boy. Texas politics is a whole rodeo of absurdity. On one hand, you've got politicians who seem allergic to the concept of public service. And on the other hand, you've got people trying to make we are our own country thing happen again, like it's still 1836. And if you dare criticize Texas in front of a native, they'll get defensive faster than a mama armadillo protecting her young. If you don't like it, leave it. That's what they say. As if U-Hauls aren't booked solid for people moving out of Texas every single summer already. And the pride, my God, the pride of Texans. Texans act like the rest of the country should bow down to them. They put the Texas flag on freaking everything. Shirts, mugs, pickup trucks, tattoos, probably even their underwear. And if you think I'm kidding, go into a Buc-ee's and tell me if you can walk out without buying something shaped like the state of Texas. You can't. It's impossible. Oh, and might as well get into Buc-ee's. It's like a cult at this point. The so-called best gas station in America. Yes, it's big, and yes, it's got more beef jerky than a doomsday prepper's basement, but at the end of the day, it's still just a gas station. People treat stopping at Buc-ee's like a pilgrimage, when in reality, they're just buying overpriced trail mix in a building with a cute logo of a beaver. And let's talk about the food for a second. People will tell you Texas has the best barbecue in the world. And sure, it's good until you realize you're eating brisket in 110-degree weather while swatting away flies the size of a nickel. And then there is the Tex-Mex. Yes, it's tasty. I love it. But every single restaurant brags to have the best fajitas in Texas, which is about as meaningful as claiming you're the least shady politician in Washington. People are incredible. And if you think Texas is cheap, that ship sailed a decade ago. Housing prices in places like Austin are climbing so fast you'd think Elon Musk was buying up every available lot, which, to be fair, he might be. Rent is skyrocketing, property taxes are brutal, and yet people from California still think the place is a bargain, while people from Mississippi think they're being gouged. Yeah, now that happens any place where there's been a major influx of people, and Texas has seen one for quite some time now, not as long as California. You know, people are just flooding in there for about a century and a half. Recently, that's slowed down to a trickle, and Texas over the last 10, 20 years, they've had a good influx of people moving into the state. It was cheap. Texas had a lot going for it 20 years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still a great place to live compared to most states, but it's just not what it used to be, which will happen to any place that sees a flood of people. California at one point was nothing but great. Beautiful state. Everyone was making money. And then everyone found out everyone was making money, and they came to get that money and this beautiful scenery. And now California's basically overbooked and it's fallen apart. And they're pulling it together a little bit, but for a while there, it was touch and go. Texas is heading that same direction. Give it another 20 years, and it's going to be the new California with different politics and no beach. That's about it. They do have a beach, but it's not really beach. It's the Gulf. I went to Galveston a couple of years ago. It wasn't much of a beach. It was a shoreline. Maybe I just went there the wrong week. But yeah, it's not like California, Southern California beaches. That's just me. I'm a Pisces. Lastly, let's not ignore the natural disaster buffet Texas has to offer. Tornadoes, hurricanes, droughts, flash floods, pick your poison. As a matter of fact, they just had a devastating flood in Kerr County, which is in the central part of the state near San Antonio. Now, here's the thing about it. This happened before in the same place or on the same river in 1987, and the locals are now saying that little has been done to prevent it from happening again. And it did. 38 years and 2 weeks later, the Guadalupe River jumped its banks again during heavy rain. Just like in 1987, locals and visitors were caught off guard in the middle of the night by a rapidly rising river. And once again, young campers on summer break drowned in the raging flood. Truly a tragic story. And, I'm not blaming Texas for that. That could happen anywhere, but it's a shame. It broke my heart. These young girls, they're at this summer camp thing, and now they'll never come home. It's brutal. I think about that stuff and I get emotional. And then I get a little irritated when I find out that in the 38 years since it happened before, not much was changed. So are they going to not do anything again and just hope they're out of office by the time it happens again? I don't know.
A few hours later.
But in Texas, it's like Mother Nature has decided to test all her destruction modes in one state and sometimes in 1 year. And because Texas is so big, you can experience more than one disaster in the same week. Yes. So yeah, Texas has its moments: beautiful hill country, decent barbecue, and the occasional friendly stranger. But for every good thing, there's a long list of disasters waiting to happen. And if you point this out, the most Texas thing you'll hear in a response is, well, at least we're not California. They should add "yet" on the end of that. All right, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a like, leave me a comment, tell me what other place I should look at for you with no BS, no stats, just the explanation. Leave it in the comment section below. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.